My name is Sister Kate Arseneau. I'm a sister of St. Joseph, and today I'd like to talk to you a bit about homelessness and link that to an agency that I'm involved with right here in Troy called Joseph House. Most likely you know of Joseph House, but I'd like to give you some more information that will increase what you know about this wonderful agency. So let me speak a few words about homelessness in general. Living in housing that is not secure, that falls below the minimum standard for human beings, and lacks tenure, in other words, the right to stay where you are living, quotes. That is what homelessness is all about. So what does this look like? Where are people living who are homeless? They might be living underneath a bridge near the river in Albany. They might be living in a cardboard box in a wooded area, in an abandoned building, or maybe even on a park bench with all their belongings in a plastic bag. I find that many of us are quick to judge why people are homeless, and our judgments can often be very severe. The reasons for homelessness are many and varied. People are homeless because of a lack of affordable housing. People are homeless because of unemployment, and the COVID pandemic has increased these numbers of people. People are homeless because they fall below the poverty line. They don't make enough money to be able to afford an apartment or a house. People are homeless because of mental illness through no fault of their own, or because of addiction. All of these problems that cause homeless or are at the root of homelessness are difficult problems to solve. Homelessness is increasing in both New York State, the Capital District, and the United States. In New York State last year, there were 92,000 people, men, women, and children, who were homeless. 568,000 in the United States. The states that have the largest number of homeless people are New York, California, and Texas. And that's because, of course, their overall numbers of people in those states are very large. Homelessness is not decreasing. On the contrary, it is increasing, and increases by about 3% every year. Homelessness is a problem right where we live, any place in the Capital District. So let me talk to you a bit about Joseph House, which is trying to end homelessness. In 1983, two sisters of St. Joseph were working at St. Anthony's School in downtown Troy. And they lived in an apartment in downtown, and each night they would look out their windows and see the number of homeless that were trying to find a secure place to sleep in the alleyways of downtown Troy. They were Sister Maria, Joseph Coakley, and Sister Rita Shawn McClaskey. So they looked at this plight and asked themselves, how can we come up with a solution for this? So they worked with many of the store owners and the politicians of Troy, and they formed a storefront ministry. It was a small building in downtown Troy, to allow people to come in just to sleep. It was an overnight shelter in Troy. This grew, of course. After founding this and handing it over to a board of directors, these two sisters, Sister Maria and Sister Rita, moved on to establish Bethany Hospitality Center, which was across the street from St. Anthony's and the Protestant church. And this was a kind of a day shelter for people. So Joseph House accommodated people at night, and then they could move to Bethany Hospitality Inn to receive meals and to stay inside during the cold winter months. At Joseph House, and we've grown rapidly since the early 1980s, our mission is to provide non-judgmental services to end homelessness. And I emphasize the non-judgmental services. Our services are many, and from that small storefront ministry in downtown Troy, We operate now out of 4 buildings. One we refer to as the Shelter on Ferry Street. The second, the Hill Street Inn on 4th, just behind the Red Front Grill. The Lansing Inn in Troy, North Troy, and Kendall House in North Albany. So 3 of our buildings are in Rensselaer County and 1 in North Albany or Albany County. We also run a Code Blue shelter during the winter months. We used to use several different churches in downtown Troy to run the Code Blue in the winter months, but now we are using the old St. Patrick's Convent on 5th Avenue. We served 1,700 people in our shelters last year. These are men, women, and children. And we are happy to say that 74% of the families that we sheltered, specifically at the Shelter, that building on Ferry Street, 74% of them we were able to move to housing, and 52% of the street guests. In any given time, we are providing services and shelter to more than 120 people in these 4 buildings. In addition, we have a van service out of our Kendall House property in North Albany. The van goes out every day, 7 days a week, from approximately 3 until 9 or 10 at night, bringing hot coffee, meals, sandwiches to the homeless in Albany, many of them living near the river, underneath the bridges. But recently, the homelessness is expanding so much, the van is also going to places like Latham, Colony, in the area of Colony Center, and in Cohoes. I'm happy to say that the restaurants in Albany have been wonderful during the pandemic in providing hot meals that we can bring to these people. We also worked with the City of Albany in providing portable toilets and portable sinks throughout downtown to provide for homeless individuals. COVID has brought about many challenges for our ministry through Joseph House. There are increased expenses for sanitizing all of our dwellings, providing mentors for the children that we have in the shelter, the families that are residing there, providing counselors to work with people that are suffering from isolation, providing Wi-Fi access for the children, especially in the shelter, to keep up with their schoolwork. So our need is growing, and we depend upon funding from government agencies and donations from people like you. And let me remind you that no donation is too small. We are happy to receive any monetary donations or donations of supplies. I'm sure you remember the preface to the Christmas story that we read in the Holy Gospel, where Joseph is searching for shelter for his wife and unborn child. And we remember that phrase, "There's no room in the inn." Well, Joseph House is striving to provide space for those who need it, trying to provide room in any of our inns. And we try to do it, as I mentioned in our mission, without judgment. So we invite you to join us in providing any service that you can to help the homeless in our Capital District. Thank you so much.